Hello there, how are you? Lyrin Haddock here with a fresh episode of Cheap Games, No Shame. Although with this week's game of choice, some may consider there to be some shame, but personally I don't. So this week we're looking at the black sheep of the gaming world, something you'll have seen on many lists of most offensive or most banned. So let's get our chores for the day, zip up our pants, and prepare for insanity with Postal 2. Please like, comment, share and subscribe for more content from Bearded Budget Gaming. I reached out to Desi, Chief Rod Officer of Running with Scissors, with a couple of questions regarding the game, and the absolute legend that he is, he responded and you'll find them dotted throughout the video. So where do we start with a game with such infamy? I remember buying it within a year or so of its release back in 2003. I guess I wanted to see what the hype was, and what I found was a fun first-person shooter with a ridiculously satirical and black sense of humour. Teenage me? Yep. I'll have this. Now, yeah, the game was and is controversial, whether it's the stereotypes and some of the crude humour, or the depictions of gore. But at the same time, it's also very satirical even today, and also has some meta-commentary involved in there too. Let's just say I appreciated this for one reason as a kid, and for completely different reasons as an adult, but both reasons are pretty damn close to each other. This game being the first version of Postal that moved into the 3D first-person shooter realm, as the original Postal was an isometric top-down shooter, which is something I've mentioned in previous videos. I like it when developers open their franchises to other genres or styles, especially if it ends up fitting with the IP in question. Moving from isometric to 3D FPS is a change for any franchise. Did you find that it enabled creativity, or more that it caused issues you didn't expect, such as more pushback from a publisher, PEGI, ESRB types? We felt that a first-person shooter would give us more opportunity to be creative and do things that we just couldn't do in an isometric shooter. I think that it's also important in game dev to try new things, and this allows us to develop the Postal Dude character in a much bigger way. Playing as I am around Halloween time for recording, I've also found that Paradise is currently in its Halloween phase, which is a great timed addition. On top of that little nugget is also the amazing thing that has been the support for this game from its developers. Like seriously, these guys have given updates to this game, including April 19th, 2023, with its 20th anniversary update. Throw in this and the fact that achievements weren't available when the game came out, they've gone back and added some pearls, including it's sterile and I like the taste, RIP Patches, you legend, Darth Mauled, Finkel is Ironhorn, the laces were in, Wilfred, Modern Family, and also, you gotta pay the troll toll.
Troll toll! Hey, hey, hey! Troll toll!
It adds even more relevance, nostalgia, pop culture references, even years after, which does mean that even if you're an old fart like me and played it when it first came out, it's worth picking up again for the additional gags that have been added in the 20 years since its release, and that doesn't even factor in that you get Paradise Lost too. My last little rant leads into this little rant. I know I'm being ranty today, but it's not a bad kind of ranty. With the game's age, there is a plethora of mods available.
A plethora? Oh, yes. You have a plethora.
But here's the interesting thing, and it's not something that is readily done by other developers. Some mods have been integrated officially by the developer in updates over the years. I mean, come on, how often do you come across a singular mod being integrated into a game, let alone multiple? Then add in Corkscrew Rules, which was an official spin-off kind of expansion that's now available as a mod after it was only sold in Russia and Japan. What led the team to keep updating the game for so many years? Most developers drop a game's support within a couple of years, barring MMO or esports, but you guys have been adding updates for 20 years, something I admire. Simple, we are gamers ourselves, and I've always had great respect for anybody who takes money out of their wallet. It's easy for people who have a lot of money or spend other people's money, but my background is from the streets, and I'm always grateful for all the support we've received from our amazing fans like yourself, for example. The idea of supporting our work for all these years, and we will continue, is simply who we are. Why not? We've got the greatest fans in the world, and we love what we do. If you've never watched the Postal movie, I do recommend it. If you enjoy the games, you'll very, very likely enjoy the film. Now, I know a lot of people will refuse to even give the film any time of day because of dun dun dun, Uwe Ball. But look past him. The fantastic cast in Postal Dude is the type of guy you'd expect. Cameo and guest roles filled by J.K. Simmons, Vern, Mini-Me Troyer, and the Soup Nazi from Seinfeld. It's a film that does hit the aura of the game, even if it doesn't hit being a true depiction. Me and my daughter both love the Postal movie. The casting is absolutely spot on. Postal Dude, Uncle Dave, Vern Troyer, you even got the Soup Nazi for Osama bin Laden. Now I will admit, I first came across him and Uncle Dave from Scrubs, but I digress. How was it working with Uwe Boll? This isn't me calling out his career or trying to gotcha or anything like that. We've all worked or known someone who is great to work with, but outside of work you stay away. Others it's the other way around. The question is, how is he to work with? It was a lot of fun working with Uwe. I think he's far more talented than he gets credit for. Yes, he's strong-minded, but that's a great characteristic for somebody who is a producer-director. We had our own creative differences, but that's okay. This was his movie. The game still looks great, especially running at 1080p. Due to its age, you're not looking at having to own a mega PC to play the game, which again, considering the age of the game, it's hard not to absolutely fall in love with the mirrors in bathrooms, which are working mirrors, considering the games nowadays even struggle to have them looking this good. I mean, come on, how many times have you entered rooms with mirrors in other games, and they're always cracked or destroyed? And those are games that people rave about the graphics of. Seems strange, but it blew my tiny teenage mind when I wandered into a bathroom for the first time in this game. Is there any game that you as a creator would recommend to people? What do you play in your own time? What draws you in and keeps you hooked and you don't know why? Many years ago, when I first got started with the original Atari, I learned an important lesson when designing a game. There's an old saying, easy to play, hard to master. I grew up in a different generation from arcade machines and pinball machines. Games are a far cry from when I was a kid. I think in the end, a game is a game, which means you play it and you play to have fun. So anything that provides entertainment and releases stress. I often get mail telling me how thankful they are because Postal let their mind go free. Shit, so as far as games that I like, quite frankly, I play puzzle games. I find them good for my brain. I like to read and I like to watch classic movies. The Godfather and Casablanca and Ben-Hur. Not sure how old you are? Check them out. The sense of humour in the game I absolutely love. The satirical and black sense of humour works so well for me. Whether it's overplaying a stereotype, i.e. terrorists, but what people also forget is back when the game was developed, 9/11 was fresh in the memory, and unfortunately that led to a lot of people in smaller towns and cities in particular having a very one-dimensional view of what they believed a terrorist was. And lo and behold, in the tiny town of Paradise, Arizona, everything's a stereotype. I mean, seriously, go back and look at comedy sketches of the era, and you'll be amazed what was being said and going on. With this game as well, add in the fantastical one-liners such as the gene pool is stagnant and I'm the minister of chlorine, or the ever simple, fuck you. Then add in the awfully good billboards and posters around the world, and you'll consistently find yourself chuckling. Now, I mentioned some of the controversial issues before, but there's a couple in particular that, for those who complain, didn't realise are actually very useful in game. Have some scissors and run with them. We've all been told not to, but nope, in the game it makes you run faster. Add in the fact that you can also pee, which not only helps getting past fire that you may have caused, but also, if you set fire to yourself, piss straight up. Put yourself out, get back into the fight. Who knew pissing on yourself could save your life? Would you consider another Postal movie or TV show? Especially with the praise being given to some other game-to-visual medium projects of late. Anything is really possible, but the key for us is to make sure that we preserve and protect the brand, and unfortunately, in media cases where people will be providing the financing, their vision is just too fucking crazy for me, and I don't think it would work. Okay, so this last question I asked got the hamster in my brain running a little on his wheel, and it also added into why I wanted to cover this game. Every time I see a Postal 2 thing on a thumbnail on YouTube or an article on a website, it is always about how heavily banned and controversial it was upon release. But that's not all the game is. The game is a satirical first-person shooter mocking the tropes of movies, TV and games, and even society, and yes, there's some crude humour. But look at how revered South Park and Chris Morris's work is. Both were hit with the same sort of claims, controversial, crude humour, but now both pieces of work are held up in such high esteem. No one looks at Postal like this, and judging from the response from Vince, it seems like even TV producers don't understand the game. It sounds like they're looking for a vehicle to put controversy on screen, ignoring the true essence of the IP. Also, if anyone is unsure of Chris Morris's work, check out The Day-to-Day, Brass Eye, and Four Lions. So there we have it, a ranty all over the place spiel about why you should pick up Postal 2. You'll enjoy yourself. And by the way, don't want to pee on people? Don't. Don't want to use a car as a silencer? Don't. No one makes you do it. You just have the creativity in the sandbox that has been created. So whatever you want to do, you're doing it, and guess what? You choose to do it. So don't blame it on others. I've been Leering Haddock, with no regrets. Catch you next time. Okay, so drunken rant whilst partway through writing the script. I seriously can't thank Vince Desi enough for even responding to my email. I'm a nobody in the grand scheme of things. I'm no Game Ranks, I'm no Matt McMuscles, I'm no Oxbox. Yeah, here he is responding to a random YouTuber who loves his games. And his cameo in the movie. So on top of just being a dude and creating such a fantastic franchise, I've got to throw out a salute wall to Vince Desi, just for being a legend. Cheers, Vince.